Hello and welcome to Mirror Talk. We have moments where we just have to pause. Just pause and take a break and reflect on life. Remember, you are strong, you are enough, you are capable, you are blessed, and you are loved. Your moment of greatness starts now. On this episode, I am happy to have Winnie Nantongo as a guest. Winnie Nantongo is an Ugandan writer, poet, digital influencer, filmmaker, social activist, and an optimist who is dedicated to helping people develop their minds and hearts. Hello, Winnie. How are you doing?
I think with everything going on in the world right now, I think I'm overwhelmed, but I'm blessed and I'm aware of that, so I can't take that for granted. How are you yourself?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. As you said, with everything going on with the coronavirus and the lockdown and the shutdown and business running out, I'm grateful that I'm alive. My friends are alive. My family members are alive, and we're all doing good. And we can afford to live and feed ourselves. So I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we are all trying to celebrate the small wins, so yeah, I get it.
Yes. Um, I was going through your blog, winnienatongo.com, and I found out that it's so filled with, love and spreading of light and wisdom. Can you tell us more about your blog and other works?
I believe in self-improvement. I believe that the world can be a much better place if we focus on becoming a person of value so that we can share that value with others. So bringing value with the rest of the world has always been my dream since I was so little.
Wow, that's really nice. I mean, it's your blog is so well developed, and I was going through it, and it's filled with a lot of content, well designed. I find it very, very, very inspiring. As someone who is currently on a journey of self-development, I am, always motivated by your inspiring tweets. I find them on my newsfeed almost every time. How do you stay optimistic at all times?
Well, first, thank you. If I say I'm always optimistic, I'll be lying. I lose focus too and feel like shit sometimes, but I think that's a human thing. So it's okay to feel like that at times because everyone does. However, I never let the bad days ruin my life. I always remind myself that everything happens for a reason, and most times, for the better. I can't always be like complaining about, the bad things that happen to you, but then you never complain when something good happens. So, and like I say, like nothing lasts forever. So you just gotta know that some good things are gonna happen, the bad things are gonna happen. But at the end of the day, when something is yours, it's always gonna happen for you.
Yes, that's very correct. What are your thoughts on self-improvement and growth? Do you have tips on how to successfully improve oneself? How can I successfully improve myself?
Oh, for me, it has always been praying. I pray all this. I pray, I exercise, I meditate. Reading and journaling has been part of my journey. Like that's how you grow. And also, I would say that people should learn to face their fears, get out of their comfort zones, take responsibility for their mistakes, and believing in yourself also. So there is so much you can do to improve oneself, like to improve yourself, but that's a good start. Like once you do these things, like you take on these practices, you are starting your journey in a very good way.
Yes. Wow. So praying and exercising and doing some activities, reading for example.
Yeah, reading is so great. Like reading is so good, and journaling all your feelings, journaling your experiences and everything. It helps a lot.
Wow. Thank you so much for that answer. That's amazing. you know, um, Sometimes it could be, quite challenging and difficult to love myself because, when I think of the flaws or inadequacies or problems or sometimes past mistakes or experiences, how do you let go of all of these things? I mean, all of these things of the past and focus on a path of recovery and self-love?
Well, for me, I try to live in the moment because that's the only thing I have control over. And tomorrow is never promised. But again, your present can shape your future. So that's why you should give your world to your now. Focus on your today. Focus on what's happening. Live in the moment. That's what I do with myself. Yeah.
So for me to, have this self-love, I have to live in the moment and forget about the past.
Of course, like I said, some things we can't undo.
Some things you cannot do. Wow. So we live in a society where we are judged based on our past, the color of our skin, our social status, and lots more. How do you look beyond all of these things and still love yourself?
I think it's about standing in the strength of being able to walk in your full power, in who you are, who you truly are, not who the world wants to see you as. I'm happy for everything that I am. I don't care what anyone else thinks about me, because no one knows me like I do myself. If you get the point,
Yes.
So and so their judgment doesn't define my character. Once you allow their judgments to dictate how you think or how you live, that's how you become a weak being. Also, the color of my skin or your skin doesn't give you more right to life than me. Like, nothing gives you or gives anyone more right to life than someone else.
Yes. Wow. So I shouldn't allow the judgment of other people to determine my character or the way I see myself.
Yeah, who you are is only you who knows who you are. There are like judgments of you should not dictate how you think or live.
Yeah. Wow. But just thinking about this now, turning the table around, sometimes we could find ourselves, in the position of projecting our anger, our disappointment, and aggression on other people. A lot of times this could be, unintentional. I mean, honestly, we don't intend to do that. How do you think we can, show love to others by not projecting negativity?
Projecting is the mind's way of tricking us not to feel what we need or should feel. So when it happens, we resort to blaming and hurting others. Question your thoughts. It's so important to protect yourself from your own thoughts. Sometimes your thoughts can be dangerous. So if you think about blaming someone for your mistakes or pointing fingers, question yourself and reflect. Also try mindfulness, because that way you will also stay in touch with how you think. You will stay in the present, and you can take control of your thoughts. You can try to control what you think by staying mindful, like trying mindfulness.
Wow, mindfulness. Wow, that's a very big topic I have to work on, actually, being mindful of everything I think about and everything I do. Wow, but talking about negativity, I think it is quite necessary to avoid them in order to allow love and light into our lives. Do you have any personal stories or experience that you could share with us on how you fought against negativity that was looming about you or that were looming around you?
Growing up, I had this relative of mine who used to always jokingly talk about how thin I am, because I'm slim and stuff. So always comparing my body size to that of my siblings, since and no one in my family is thin like me. And actually, it was not only this person, but every time I would walk somewhere with my little brother, because he's kind of looks like older than me, if you get the drift.
Yes.
So someone would make a comment about my body, like, does he eat your food? Those kind of comments. So this made me so sad, and I started hating myself, like hating my body. I felt like my body size wasn't okay. That was until I grew up. I started started going places and meeting different people, that I realized I was okay. I wasn't the only one or the only being this thin, and my small size wasn't disability at all, and it could never limit how far I can go, or what I can say is that how you look will never limit your greatness. When I started meeting different people and started seeing people that I look up to, they aren't big in size, and I'm like, okay, if these people can do this great,
yes,
why can't I? What can limit me? My body size isn't anything. I think that's when I started realizing that I'm okay, I'm enough. This shouldn't matter. This shouldn't determine, my future or what I do with my life.
Yes.
So I think that's one thing that an experience that I grew up in, that I shaped me right now, how I think and how I act. Yeah.
Wow. So two things I've learned from what you just said now is exposure and having a positive mindset can help you fight against negativities. in your life.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really amazing. Like from your story now, sometimes we just have to, let go and forgive all those who have hurt us in one way or the other. This is quite easy to say. It's very easy to say, but um, do you have practical tips on how to, let go of all of these hurt, all of these grudges? For example, your uncle or your relative that are calling you too slim or too thin. How do you let go of all of these grudges and just let go and let live or something?
I don't think there is a special formula on how to let go of a grudge or something, Well, at least not any formula that I know of. But what I can say is that you can never heal yourself if you can't let go of what hurt you, If you still have your hand in fire, it will keep burning unless you remove your hand. The pain will stay, of course, but with time, it will heal. And the wounds will become scars. So with a grudge, you can choose to forgive them and let go, even if you won't forget, but it won't hurt you anymore, It will, it will leave a scar that will always remind you of the lesson.
Yes.
So what's better? Keep burning, or you remove your hand and let time heal the wound. So you just let go. You just remove your hand from the fire and let it heal. So there is no formula on how you can let go of a grudge or something.
Wow, wonderful. Remove your hand from the fire. Wow.
Yeah, just gonna remove the hand from the fire. Then you either leave it to burn or you remove it. What's better? So
Yes, I rather remove it from the fire, of course. Wow, I'm going to keep that in mind every time. And anytime I have grudges, like remove your hand from the fire. Just let go of the situation and be peaceful with yourself.
And one thing that no matter who someone is in your life, let them be family or whatever, as long as they're toxic, you shouldn't excuse them because they're your family, That's one thing that I think people should get. Like whoever the person is, family or not, you should never excuse them for being toxic because they're family. They should not don't let people guilt you.
Wow. So we should just let go of any kind of toxic people from our lives, be it family, be it friends, be it a stranger or whatever. They should be far gone from us.
Exactly.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much. How do you stay loving yourself no matter what happens? In the future, for example, are there ways to stay encouraged on this journey to ensure that one does not, give up on his or herself or on life in general?
What I can say is that just never forget how far you've come. You didn't come this far just to let it all go to waste. Life is hard. Loving yourself is hard. But you took the first step when you decided to choose yourself, to start loving yourself. You can't take another step and another. If you took the first step, you can take the other step. So like I said earlier, shit happens sometimes, but it all gets better. And that storm might not come to disrupt your life, but to make a path for you. So don't give up. When you feel like it's too hard to handle, just talk to someone or read a book, listen to a podcast like this.
Yeah.
Meditate or pray. For me, I think most of my life, I'm always praying or meditating most of the time.
Yeah.
When I feel like something is off, I'm losing self-love and stuff, I just get to take time off from the crowd, get in my room, pray about whatsoever, or just meditate. And so also don't forget that someone somewhere would give anything to be in your place, because to them what you are going through is nothing compared to what they're going what they're experiencing. So I'm not saying your feelings are invalid, but you should be grateful. So that's how you start loving yourself. Meditate. That goes back to self-improvement. Meditate, pray, know your feelings, and also remember to be grateful, because someone else somewhere wants what you have right now, wants to experience what you're experiencing right now. Though it's bad, someone else is having it right.
Wow. So the act of gratitude comes again into play. Whenever I'm in the future, when I'm disturbed or whatever, I should always think back and say, yes, I've started this journey and I've come this far. I cannot go back anymore. And if I'm discouraged, I should pray or meditate or read a book.
Yeah, for me, when like every time I feel like, I want to give up, I want to let go of something, I always remind myself that I did not come this far only to come this far.
Yes. I did not come this far only to come this far. That means there's still a long way ahead of me for improvement, for progress, for growth. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow, that's really great. Thank you so much for your time and everything. I've been able to learn a lot from you today. The act of gratitude, pushing forward, a positive mindset. I mean, a lot I've learned from you today. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for your time and for the knowledge.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. This is it's been a great pleasure of mine to be hosted on your podcast, of course.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I am eternally grateful for your time, your love, and contributions. You mean a lot to me. Thank you once again for listening and sharing with your loved ones. Don't forget to subscribe and follow this journey on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other platforms in the description. Stay blessed.